the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 246 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, August 1st, 2022. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. I made it through that, James. It was close. It was really close.
I know. What's the August I thought was going to get you.
Well, I tried to.
Thought you were going to get nipped.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a lisp in there, but we made it through.
I did the notes this week, so as you started reading, I thought, oh boy, what did I get wrong?
I think
no, you got through it.
What stumbled me is, so my day job is working for a newspaper, and we are every day working on the following day's newspaper. And so I saw August 1st, and I'm like, wait, it's August 2nd. But no, August 2nd is tomorrow. It's just I worked on August 2nd all day today. So
yeah, well, I should say we did screw up the intro because it's not Tuesday, August 1st. It is Monday.
You're right. It is
1st.
Monday, and I'm not changing it. I'm not going to go back. Yeah. Damn it, James.
Yeah, it was me. I messed up. That's what it was. That's what it was. Look, I'll fix it right here so there's no proof.
Ron Burgundy, man. If it's on the prompter, I'm reading it.
There's gonna be people who listen to the start of this episode and go, wait.
Wait.
Oh, there they got it. They figured it out.
I mean, there's only like 4 people anyway, James. So I don't think we have a whole lot to worry about.
I think we do more than 4. It's more like 6.
Thanks. Yeah, maybe.
Sorry, man. I set you up to fail.
Wow.
Yep. We haven't done a Monday in a while. You know what, though? It's really your fault because you kept scheduling Tuesdays. So. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because
it all comes back to you.
I don't know what happened with this whole Monday thing, because we used to record on Wednesdays. We moved to Tuesdays, and we've been on Tuesday for a long time. And then like one week, I was like, hey, can we do a Monday because I can't do Tuesday? And then like James switched to Monday mode, and like it's Monday every week now, and it's like, okay, well, that works.
I enjoy the instant reaction.
I know you like closer to the weekend, and
also we get this bad boy banged out. So
right,
but we are on KFB watch, right? Though, so we've agreed that when KFB leaves Joe Gibbs Racing, that we'll do an emergency podcast.
Do you know how excited I'm going to be if I'm at Michigan this weekend and the news breaks?
I can't wait,
dude. I would be thrilled.
Yep, you're gonna be ready to
no
roll.
matter what the news is. Just the fact that I might be able right there in the middle of the news cycle, that would be great. It's happened before. I've been in the middle of good stuff in Michigan before.
Getting that scrum, man. You never know.
Yeah, just a few.
I don't know how credible we'll be, but
just a few races.
You do great work.
Few races from the end of the regular season. It's getting to be crunch time to make that decision.
That's right. He's gonna have to get it done. He had a big old smile on his face this week, so we'll talk about that. But
yeah, we'll get into it. Somebody who I think we're pretty sure we know where he's going to be next year, though, James. Despite, we know where he's going to be the next year too. Tyler Reddick gets himself a second win on the season. Pretty much dominated this race at Indianapolis, Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. And Reddick is a 2-time winner, another one of those championship favorites. It took him so long to get that first one, but now he's got 2, both road course wins too, which is interesting.
Yeah. Well, you keyed me off right there because championship favorite ? Let me put a question mark on that.
I don't know.
Championship contender?
There's no such thing as a championship favorite right now. I think the only person that you can say that is a championship favorite, James, is still Chase Elliott.
That's right.
He's just been so consistent compared to everybody else. But
I struggle putting Tyler Reddick in the contender category because he hasn't won on an oval yet.
That's true.
So I just am like, But that being said, it's not for Tyler Reddick's lack of talent. Let me say that. It's just I don't feel like that team performs on the ovals. Also, he's got whatever's going on with his move seems to not be over. So
let me just remind you that
strange.
Daniel Hemrick had not won on any track last year and won a championship in the Xfinity Series. So.
That's right.
I mean,
that is right.
This format doesn't matter, and Reddick's been there. I mean, he's been in. He's been in the conversation Absolutely. At the end of a lot of these races. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think right now, if you're in the playoffs, you're a contender. I mean, at this point, there might be a couple guys that are probably not going to make it, but you never know. I mean,
Alex Bowman's on that list of.
Yeah. Alex Bowman's so far on that list that everybody's given his ride away.
Yeah, and Kyle Larson, watching that whole thing develop over the last few weeks, I'm wondering about him as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's not like it. With the strange thing about Reddick, so he's broken through, and got a couple of wins this year, but he's not statistically not having as good of a year as last year, I guess.
Right.
Overall, but he's got the 2 wins, so he's got those banked. But he's also doing something this year he hasn't done before either, and he's leading some laps too. So
yeah, and he started out the season strong, and they just hit a slump. So
yes,
I mean, if you're gonna have a slump, you slump where he did, and then you get on the upswing as the regular season comes to a close. So he's peaking at the right time during the season.
Yeah, he had a stretch of a handful of like 30th and lower place finishes, and he's got a bunch of those kind of on the resume. But the last 2 weeks now, kind of Chase Elliott-esque. He's got a second and a first, and building up maybe some momentum here as we go to Michigan. It's been fun to watch Tyler Reddick start to, like, the same thing we had with Bowman early in the season, and Bowman has kind of I don't know if regressed or he's kind of settled into whatever's going on over there. Because I feel like Hendrick as a whole is struggling outside of the Chase Elliott camp. I don't know what's going on over there a little bit, but it's fun to watch some of these younger guys start to like find it. And I know we've talked about this with different drivers from time to time, but this team, like they go to a road course, they have to be considered the favorite, and especially when Chase Elliott got wiped out. If
right.
Tyler Reddick could make that corner clean, you kind of felt like there was nobody gonna be able to touch him, because that car is just, and he wheels it. I mean, he's obviously super talented, but that car is just that team's got it figured out right now. And when they go to Watkins Glen in a couple of weeks, you got to think that this is the number 1 pick going into that race.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty big stretch taking Reddick for this race, because they were great at Road America, of course, but it just didn't feel like, oh, this is a guy who's just going to become a road course guy now that's going to win all these road courses. But
yeah,
the road course things have been kind of streaky lately. It seems like one guy gets a hold of it and gets a couple in a row. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we can call this a road course race, James, because we've had a couple road course races this year so far, and they've sucked. And you can argue this one did too, but geez, it's like we took all those road course races worth of contact and crammed them into this one. This was a lot of people making references to Bowman Gray on Twitter and
bump and grind.
Yeah, it was something, man. It felt like a truck race on Indianapolis' road course. What in the world?
Yeah, it looked like rallycross or something like that, where they just slide into the corner and slide into each other. That first corner really, you had some really talented guys doing really weird things.
Just
like
cramming it in there, man.
Yeah,
and it's like, is it just that these guys know these bodies are so strong they're not going to get fender rubs or tire rubs, that they can just cram it into that space? We've never seen them do that before.
Yeah, there's just no respect, and it's almost a video game move. Like, when you were playing EA Sports back in the day, and you'd be on Watkins Glen, and you'd know, like, oh, I can get 20 positions here just by dive bombing and colliding in.
Well, you mentioned Logano.
You can make the corner.
Logano wasn't making that turn. I mean, without the help of the 5 cars to the outside of him, he was not making that turn.
No, there was a bunch of guys not making that turn on that restart.
Yeah. And Kyle Larson tried it right in the middle of the race.
Yes, yeah. Well,
I don't know what the heck that was.
Holy smokes, man. Yeah, so you added to the notes. I hadn't heard this, but they said that wasn't a brake failure?
Pockrass reported today on Twitter that Hendrick said there were no indications of a brake failure on Larson's car.
So what happened there?
I don't know.
He went into that corner over 130 before he started slowing down.
Did he grab the wrong pedal? What in the world?
I can't imagine he grabbed the wrong pedal. I
wouldn't think so. Something. I just don't know how you make that mistake without a mechanical failure.
I trust Kyle Larson enough to realize that cannot be driver error. To go in that fast?
Yeah.
There's no way. There's just no way. I don't know. Eric, have you ever... I was texting with someone and said, I have never seen like car-on-car contact that severe. In quite some time at least.
No, because, we see hits like this at restrictor plates and stuff, or tracks where a car gets spun in front of the field. but this was a car that was making a turn almost at a dead stop.
Yeah,
that had
car
no idea another car was coming.
Yeah, you had one car going 130 miles an hour and another car going, what, 50?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, golly, man. And kudos to Larson for getting that car turned at least a little bit, because who knows what happened. But man, if he hits him head on, I don't know what happens there.
Well, not only that,
I mean, even the cameraman was fooled by, you see the cameraman shake because it was so violent.
I mean, I guess in a way you kind of saw this earlier in the year at Texas when Chastain did this to Kyle Busch with the flat tire. I mean, honestly, a little bit different angle. Larson gets launched like that, and then we're in for a heck of a ride going into turn one.
Yeah, and that curb being there like that, man, that was scary. And to see Kyle get out of the car and I feel bad for Ty. He didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Just cleaned out. And...
Ty just when luck could go his way, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
The poor
he
poor
was
guy.
having a decent day.
Yeah, the poor guy. I mean, we determined. We talked last week that I don't think the talent level is what we expected out of Ty, but Ty also has the worst luck of anybody like ever in NASCAR.
Yeah,
I mean,
up there. Yeah,
the poor guy is. Anytime he's having a good run, he gets hosed somehow.
Yep. But man, I tell you, that was. Of all the crazy things happening in that race, that definitely stands out. And I mean, we had carnage all over the place. You retweeted the canopy flying. I mean, it was just a strange day all around.
So this is the second race for the Cup Series on this track configuration, and it is the second race on this configuration at this track where we had a winner battling for the lead with a driver that was penalized and nobody knew.
yeah. Nobody knows what to call it, right?
I mean, so Reddick, can you imagine? I mean, Reddick almost pulled a Hamlin and got spun out at the end for a race racing a guy who couldn't win the race. Let's talk a little bit about the Ross Chastain deal, because you wanted to talk about it. You mentioned on Twitter that you wanted to talk about it.
Oh yeah, we have to.
So Chastain misses the corner completely. He did attempt to slow down, but when he realized he wasn't going to make it, he just throttled up and went through the short chute or the shortcut or the alternate. I don't know what the hell they call it, but until
access road.
Until he did this, we didn't know it was a shortcut. But he came out ahead of the leader.
Did either.
Yeah. So I guess let's start with James. Penalty correct? I mean, should NASCAR have penalized him? Should he have had a more severe penalty, less severe? What are your thoughts on the penalty?
Yeah, I think it was the right call because it's technically shortcutting the corner, right? The spirit of the rule is strained, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can't take an access road and gain position like that. Even
so, I think NASCAR says during the race that this is what you do if you miss the turn, this is your alternate, and there's no penalty throughout the race, should there be a penalty here?
I think you have to. Because what if Chastain wins that race?
Right.
I'm
playing devil's advocate because, I mean, common sense tells you that you can't pass the guy by going off the course. I mean, you just can't.
Yeah, and you had said a good one too. Like, I think this penalty's fair. Like, drop him to the end of the lead lap. But you had said just take whatever 7 positions away from him because that's what he. But that's also hard to do because who knows what happens if he's racing back there. So I think you slot him in at the end of the.
Well, in my understanding too, and I don't have this officially, but just based on tweets that I saw today, he did not get slotted into the end of the lead lap cars. He got penalized 30 seconds. Which
there you go.
Effectively put him at the end of that because it was a restart with 2 to go. But so I mean that's like I said, I'd be all right. I'd be better with just taking a couple positions away, whatever positions he gained from it. Like I said, common sense says you can't go off the course and pass for the lead.
And here's the easy thing for me to do because it's in my playbook is to go after Ross Chastain, right?
Right.
That's the easy thing to do. But this isn't a Ross Chastain problem. This is NASCAR not knowing what to do with road courses because every single time we go to a road course, there's some sort of a rules problem or some silliness happening with curbs coming up or racing in the rain, and it just becomes a clown show. When all we really have to do is say if you go off the course like that and you shortcut a corner, you have to come to a complete stop and re-enter the surface. I don't understand What's so hard about that? I just
Yeah.
don't understand what's so hard
Well,
about that.
they actually have a penalty lane built into this track to allow for the stop and go.
Yes.
And I mean,
Briscoe did it last year.
I guess my
Briscoe
biggest
stopped and go.
right. My biggest problem with the penalty, if anything, is that NASCAR took 2 laps until the end of the race to say it was a penalty.
They didn't even know what to do.
No.
They didn't know what to do because they weren't prepared.
But
It's the same thing that happened last year when the curb came up.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do. And then when we raced at, Coda a year ago and Martin Truex Jr. got skyrocketed,
right,
was one of many cars that went straight in the sky because of how dumb that was. It's just, I mean, every dang time. I just don't understand why I don't know. We should definitely be more prepared, especially after having a full race run here a year ago, to not have silly things like this happen.
I mean, the good thing is we're going to race on a temporary track next year, so what could go wrong
Great.
there?
Sure.
As far as Ross Chastain, though, I will say that I don't think there's anything else Ross Chastain could have done. Anything else anything else he does here is a worse decision than the one he made.
He didn't really. I mean, yeah, he tapped the brakes, but
Yeah.
Part of me really.
But he's not
going to
win. He's not going to win the race. So okay.
No.
So just throttle up and see what happens. That's what he did. He doesn't need the points.
I don't think he made an honest attempt at making that corner whatsoever.
He wasn't gonna. He wouldn't make it though. There's no way he would have made that turn. They were 5-6 wide underneath him. There's no way in a million years he would have made that turn.
No, and I think he knew that.
Yeah. Well, and Reddick said, I heard Reddick say, I think on Sirius today, that they talked about it. Like, if we're not going to make that turn, do we just shoot for the gap and try that? So he didn't blame Chastain at all for it.
No, I don't think you can, because NASCAR screwed up the original. I mean, it's just doing your prep.
Right.
It's just prep work.
Yeah.
And NASCAR didn't do the prep work.
Yeah.
They took all the care and everything to make sure the curbs didn't come up, and they made rules around all of that,
Yeah,
and then they missed things.
That curve in turn 5 is cement now, so that's not
yes,
coming
it
up.
is. Yeah, that thing's not coming up now.
I don't know. I'll err in favor of NASCAR here. Like, you can't account for every possible stupid thing that somebody's going to do.
I know, but it's just a silly thing.
I know, but honestly, this is the first time I remember. I mean, NASCAR didn't use this lane last year. They didn't use this lane for the Xfinity cars the year before. This was an IndyCar thing. IndyCar's used this lane for since they've raced here. But I don't remember NASCAR ever using it. So it's new. I don't have a problem with it. I'd be more disappointed, like I said, if Chastain would have wrecked Reddick, or if Chastain would have come across the line first and then had the win taken away because of it. But the way it worked out good. And hey, it's over.
Well, we keep racing at tracks that aren't made for racing.
Well,
honestly.
that's like. I mean, the best way to solve this problem is just to run the oval.
Well, what do you think about that? I mean, let's do it. Let's talk about it. What do you think? Do we need to go back to the oval?
It's so tough, James, because I still think that this is an instance where the prestige of racing. There is no reason to be racing on this track if you're not racing on the oval.
That's right.
So if you're not gonna run the oval, let's race somewhere else. There's no prestige. I mean, I guess Tyler Reddick kissing the bricks would disagree with me, but the prestige isn't there to win on this version of this track. So if we're not going to race the oval, race somewhere else. That being said, we've had 2 pretty interesting races on this track so far in the Cup Series. The Xfinity Series is performed every year on this track, which is why the Cup Series is here. I don't know. From a prestige standpoint, yes, we should be on the oval. From a excitement factor, no, I think we should stay where we're at. We had 60,000 people in the stands this weekend, which is the same number we had on the oval last time we raced there. So,
yeah,
I mean,
it's a little bit wild. You had cars flying around all over the place.
Yeah, that if you want to look at the data, that data says keep doing what we're doing, and Penske says the same. He says the Cup Series will be back on the road course next year. Of course,
well, everybody loved that Casey Kane race on the oval, so I guess if we could do that again.
I think this car would be good on the oval, but if we went and switched back to the oval and it sucked, we'd all look stupid. So I don't know.
Well, we look stupid now. I don't know what else to do.
I will argue in the road course races that I've seen that the Indianapolis road course has possibly one of the best turn ones in all of motorsports. it's an exciting turn, and it's exciting in NASCAR. It's exciting in IndyCar. It's just a great turn, especially for a late race restart.
It's second to me only to the heartburn turn in at the Roval.
Yeah, I think it's even better than that. But they're similar.
I don't know, man. The heartburn turn. If Indy
well,
could
the funny thing
replicate
is it's the heartburn turn, but it hasn't been the heartburn turn for 2 years.
Nah.
It's a different sponsor now, but we still call it the heartburn turn.
Yeah, and the Truck Race Outdoor will always be the Mud Summer Classic, no
That's
matter
true.
what they tried to call it.
That's true. Screw major.
But yeah, it's
baseball.
the heartburn turn. Yeah, when I say heartburn turn, we know what that is.
Yeah.
We also envision Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski pile driving into the tires.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so there it is.
So James, I mean, honestly, in the perfect world, I would say we do both. We run a race here on the road course and we run a race here on the oval. But we just have too many tracks that we're trying to get into the schedule to do that. So, I mean, I would prefer to see us go back to the oval. But I guess I'm going to say I won't be disappointed if we keep running the road course. It's still fun. So,
well, the best track in Indianapolis isn't the big track, which we'll get into. But I am pro oval. I didn't like this from the start, honestly. But
yeah,
that's just part of me. That's part of just my bias as well. I realize that. So
I was leery about it too. But like I said, it's performed.
It's exciting.
So if you get rid of if you were to say, if suddenly the road course race at Daytona turned out to be really good and we decided to race there again and got rid of the big, it's the same thing. It's like you're getting rid of a track that means something to race in a track that doesn't. But if the track that doesn't mean anything puts on a better show than the one that does, then where should you be? I mean, in the end of, we sit here and preach on this podcast that one of the things that makes us different from, maybe a lot of the diehard fans like us is that we understand that this is a show just as much as it is, a competition.
That's
and
right.
So from that standpoint, we should appreciate the fact that the show is more important, and that's why we're on the road course. So I don't know.
And to me, sometimes the show, I don't know.
You think sometimes the show gets in the way?
Sometimes the show gets in the way, and it's so sloppy.
I agree. I don't disagree with you.
It can be so sloppy. Like, you can be entertained, and that's totally fine. I have no problem with the entertainment factor being pegged from time to time.
Right.
But man, sometimes I'm like, golly, we look silly.
Well, and I always
just
felt
don't like when we look silly.
I always felt like there's one race or maybe 2 races a year where you get to make the show more important than the competition, and those are the exhibition races. That's the All-Star race. Yep. That's the Busch Clash. But I don't feel like this is. I don't feel like this is pushing that line of. I mean, James, we ran the Xfinity race the day before, and we had none of this. So this isn't because of the track. This is because of the people behind the wheel.
And everybody wants. Listen, everybody's alive for a playoff berth still.
Exactly.
And I don't. The pressure in the Cup Series for the playoffs is just pegged to the next extreme. Yeah. I know it's important at the Xfinity Series, but you don't have that many top teams competing.
No.
I mean, you have, in the Cup Series, you've got 30 teams that can legitimately make the playoffs. And that means a lot. And then that's the charters as well. It's a big deal, man.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is what we got. This is the system we've got. Yep. We've had this conversation numerous times, and
speaking of that, Eric, here's one conversation I want to put to bed, and I have to just mention it one last time. I don't want to dwell on it.
Okay.
Stage racing at road courses is the worst thing that we do in this sport, and I'm not going to bring it up ever again, but I want it to be on the record how much I can't stand it.
I think it's funny that you bring that up because I felt like this is the one road course race we've run with stages that it didn't bother me during.
I hate it. I hate the strategy.
This track is so good for restarts that, James, we wouldn't have had a restart. It would have been green flag all the way through until the end. We didn't get a caution for cause until the 3rd stage.
Until Larson went flying. Yeah.
Right. So we didn't have.
I get that. So
this is the one instance I actually disagree with you. Which is funny because I've been screaming against stages on road courses.
I just don't. I just take stages away from the road courses and let's just race. It's just so much. Who's going to get the points here and this, that, and the other
Yeah,
thing.
I hear you.
Just race.
I hear you.
Just
As a
race.
guy who, I mean, my pick this week on you didn't get very many points because he wasn't
doesn't care
racing
about
for
him.
the stages. So
Yeah, he doesn't care about him at all. That team does not race for stage points.
A couple other things before we head out of the Brickyard. I did want to bring up, you've got it in the notes, that Richard Childress still not particularly thrilled about the situation with Tyler Reddick. We joked at the beginning of this discussion that Reddick is going to be with Richard Childress Racing next year. Childress confirmed that during the post-race press conference. Jeff Gluck tweets yesterday on the NBC post-race show on Peacock. Parker Kligerman asked Childress about his relationship with Reddick. Childress said when Harvick left, they made a joint announcement and won 4 races together the next year. This one didn't happen that way, Childress said. However, then it was brought to Mr. Gluck and Mr. Kligerman's attention. A post from...
revisionist history, basically.
Yeah. This is from the Harvick situation. RCR owner Richard Childress obviously was irritated by the report. I've got a contract for 2013, and this is 2012, Childress said. I'm not talking to you about nothing regarding that. Asked if Harvick had told him that he will not drive for RCR beyond 2013, Childress said, you need to go talk to them people. Don't talk to me about it. So conveniently, Richard Childress was remembering things in his favor and against Tyler Reddick.
Well, I think what we're going to learn some stuff tomorrow, right? Because Richard Childress is announcing, basically they're announcing Austin Hill's coming to the Cup Series.
Yeah, exactly.
And Richard Childress did say yesterday, it was yesterday. I keep thinking it's Tuesday, apparently.
Right.
He did say that Tyler Reddick will be in a car.
Yes.
Did not say what car. Did not say the 8 car. Did not say a Cup car. He said he will be in a car.
That is true.
So I don't know what that means. I think maybe we'll learn some stuff.
Put him in the Xfinity Series for a year.
Well, wouldn't that be something if he won the championship and they just demoted him anyway?
That would be something.
Yeah.
So first of all, I started thinking about this, especially after the original tweet by Gluck. What Reddick did, it's kind of a dick move. I'll give him that. If I was Childress, I'd be pretty pissed off too.
Well, the way he announced it was really bad.
Yeah. The same week that it was announced that you're staying with the team, the same week that you win a race, and then you go and say, "Nope, I'm leaving." With with the other team.
You slide into the Zoom and you do the whole show with Denny Hamlin, who's Denny's been pretty polarizing the last couple of years.
Yeah, so it was a dick move, but on the other hand, I'm sorry, guys. This isn't. It's not a. Here it is. It's not.
Short track racing.
It is a business. This is a business. It's a big business. There's a lot of money involved, and sometimes business is pretty cutthroat. And this is what you get.
Jeff wants to keep comparing this to, what if one of your coworkers gave you an 18-month notice that they were leaving their job?
We talked about this 2 weeks ago. It's so different.
This is sports, man. You're competing. It's not the same. Yeah. How many people have played in the NBA, James, that are on the last year of their contract and they don't want to be there? They're not going to return.
Oh yeah, but they play the season.
Yeah, it happens. Yep. Or they sit out, but they're on the team. There's nothing they can do, right? I will say though that crew, I know they climbed the fence together, but it's not like he was getting mobbed at the start finish line. It just seemed a little salty to me, but
I don't know.
That's the situation they're in.
They'll all still love each other if they're bringing home that beautiful trophy at the end of the season.
I just think that this is all going to be resolved and he won't even be with that team next year. I can't imagine. I don't think
we'll find out. I think he'll be there.
We'll learn something tomorrow, though.
Yeah. Yes, we will.
I think we will. Yep.
Let's see. Anything else worth mentioning here? Eric Almirola gets last place finish, 38th.
I'd say the super rookies, Cindric, Burton, and Gilliland, all in the top 5.
Career finish for Burton. I'm assuming career finish for Gilliland, too?
Yep. And Cindric, as we know, won the Daytona 500, so not a career finish for him.
Correct.
But this is the first top 5 for Mr. Harrison Burton.
Yeah.
And first top 5 for Mr. Todd Gilliland.
How about a 5th place finish on a road course for Bubba Wallace?
Dude, best Toyota. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yep. Scored the most points on the day, too.
Freaking Bubba goes and runs the road course race the day before in the Xfinity Series and has another mechanical issue.
Yep.
Poor
I
guy
know.
cannot get a break when he's trying to get experience the day before.
Yep. He got some laps though. I guess
Yeah.
those were pretty valuable laps because he ran a good race.
Yeah, those laps
Took
didn't
advantage
help.
of the carnage, you know.
The laps didn't help Alex Bowman any.
No, did not. AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah.
I mean, what a gutsy performance that was.
No
You could
kidding,
see
man.
his face, man. You could in his eyes. He
I
looked
have
just
never seen
aghast.
somebody look that miserable in a race car.
He looked like he was dying, and those caution laps were brutal at the end of that race.
How
Just
about-
brutal.
How about Chris Buescher pushing through too? James, I don't know about you.
Oh
but
yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm-
that's insane.
If I'm driving my car down the street and it catches on fire, and then somebody puts the fire out, I'm not getting back in that damn thing.
Well, especially when they blast you in the face
Right.
with the fire extinguisher.
Well, and then he said that it melted everything shut, so he's getting no air in the car, and just man,
God.
I'll tell you, these guys, we joked a couple weeks ago about these guys not being men like they used to be, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, man,
Tough guys.
yeah, these guys are still tough, plenty tough.
Yep, absolutely. 2 weeks in a row, Kevin Harvick's been just cleaned out by somebody else's crap.
Yeah,
So he's gonna be in a great mood coming into Michigan.
yeah, I will be sure not to ask him this year about how terrible his season's been so far, because I did that last year.
Yeah, don't do that.
Pissed
Yeah.
him off.
Yeah, don't do that this year.
Yeah, I might just steer clear of Mr. Harvick. So,
Yeah, do that. That's a good idea.
yeah. So, Austin Cindric, highest finishing rookie with a second place finish. That is Reddick's second victory in 96 Cup Series starts, James.
There you go.
And
Yeah,
yeah, that pretty much covers it.
I'll do it.
I've got Truck Series next on the list, but let's go to the Xfinity Series real quick. It's the same track,
Yeah.
and I think that discussion is going to be pretty quick. AJ Allmendinger comes out and puts on a show on how to win a race. Leads 42 laps out of 62. Just dominates this thing, and
Yeah.
I mean, really, Bowman was the closest thing, but Bowman just didn't have anything for him, and that was that.
It's AJ Allmendinger is the best road course racer we have.
Yeah.
I just, in equal equipment, I don't know. I mean,
Well, I wonder if he wasn't having the problems he was having on Sunday, if he'd have been better,
yeah, he's just so solid. He's
Yeah.
always there. He's
Yeah.
always there. Even if he doesn't win the race, he's
Even
always
if he
there.
wrecks multiple times. I mean, even if he wrecks on the way to the green flag, like he did at Portland this year,
Yeah.
he's there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just, this is what he's doing. He's having fun in the Xfinity Series. I still say that Colleague should have put him in that Cup car to make a playoff push, but
I still
no
hope,
matter what.
I still hope they put him in there next year. This guy deserves. He hasn't had much time left in the career. Let's get him a Cup ride, get him full-time ride, and let's see what he can do in the Cup Series one more time.
Yep. He's just so good, man.
He
Just
is.
so good.
He is.
Yep. He beat all the other Cup guys that came up to try to take his stuff. Briscoe was in this race, and we know he's great at road course racing as well. So, yeah, just dominant. 42 out of what? How many laps? 62? 42 out of 62?
42 out of 62. Yep.
Yep.
Only driver with double-digit laps led. The next
can't do much better than that.
next closest was Noah Gragson with 6.
Yeah. There you go. And he stayed out to win a stage.
Right.
Same with Josh Berry. Those guys know, like, Noah Gragson knows going into this race, I got to get a playoff point.
Yeah.
That's big picture thinking, but AJ's going to be the one to beat, so.
This one was really messed up with the strategy, too.
Oh, yeah.
And then a little shout out to Jeb Burton. 0 laps in this race. Broke before the green flag. That's a bummer, man.
He's on a rough patch right now.
Yeah.
Who was Sheldon Creed ticked off at? Was he mad at Chastain? Chastain got him all fired up, didn't
Yeah,
he?
I think Chastain did. And that's another one worth shouting out, too, even though he pissed off
Sheldon Creed.
4th place finish in a very, very underfunded car. They noted on the broadcast that Chastain has made a career out of overperforming and underperforming cars. So
Yeah, that's how he got where he's at. Yep.
yeah, so good on him to get a good run in that thing. So
Yep, for sure.
there you go. That's the Xfinity Series
road
race.
course.
13th victory for AJ Allmendinger in Xfinity Series. 80 Xfinity Series starts.
9th career road course win on the Xfinity Series.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
And as you said, arguably the best race of the weekend, maybe not arguably, the Camping World Truck Series made its return to Indianapolis Raceway Park. The T-Sport 200 presented by Crescent Tools at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, James. That's a mouthful.
Wow. Got it.
And
Nice work.
maybe the least expected driver out of the playoff bunch to get a win and punch his ticket to the next round, Grant Enfinger, gets it done in this thing.
Yeah. Comes into the playoffs 9th overall, not having that great of a season. Leads 13 laps. Tire strategy.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. God, I love when tire fall off is so important. And there it is.
Yeah.
Got his dub. He's locked in. Next round. Solid. Love it.
John Hunter Nemechek channeled his inner Ross Chastain and drove like a moron in this one. I'm sure you were probably a real big fan of that.
He was all over the place. Wow.
He wrecked Taylor Gray, who was leading with 1 to go, and cost him the win. He wrecked himself trying to pass a lap car in the apron.
I don't know what he's doing.
I think the pressure's on, man. When you're in that truck and you're not winning championships, you're not winning races.
Not having a great year.
Yeah, he doesn't look great. So
Just not having a great year. It's not been good. It's just not been good. That's the bottom line. End of the story.
Zane Smith had a rough day, but still managed to get back up for a 3rd place finish. That was my pick on the day.
Yep. Nice pick there.
Yeah. Ty Majeski ran really well. He led 71 laps in this one. Nemechek, despite his idiocy, led 75, the most laps on the day. Kaz Grala, not Kaz Grala, Carson Hocevar, sorry, 34 laps led. Ends up 21st.
Yeah, he got shuffled back late and was the worst of the playoff drivers, which is a bummer. But he scored well. I mean, 31 points on the day, so he's right there. Christian Eckes had the worst day, I guess, out of the playoff drivers. But Carson, Carson got some stage points, and he's not. I mean, he's okay. We got to keep an eye on the playoff picture now because we are in the playoffs now. This is the kickoff, so we just gotta. Yeah, he's up on the last 2 spots that are there, but yeah, looks like it's going to be tight going into the next round.
But they get some time off before they go to Richmond for their next race in the first round. We lose 2.
3 weeks, right? 3 weeks off. Yeah,
we lose 2 after the first 3.
2 weeks off. Yep, 2 weeks off.
There you go. I think that covers everything. Corey Haim, highest finishing rookie.
How nice was it to watch at IRP racing though?
It was excellent.
Just great racing.
This track is too big for SRX, but it is perfect size for NASCAR. And just the way we've got the multiple grooves, the progressive banking. I mean, IRP had progressive banking before progressive banking was cool. It's just an awesome track. It just absolutely excellent. We need to get the Xfinity Series cars back on this track too.
We got to quit the road course experiment for the Xfinity Series and anything on the big track. Let's just race here. This is perfect.
Who knows what'll happen?
Who knows? Exactly. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the race weekend in Indianapolis. We mentioned playoffs right now, cutoff for the Cup Series. Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, and
Kevin's got to win. These guys all got to win. It doesn't matter. They're too far behind Truex.
Yeah,
it's just must win for everybody outside.
Yeah,
it's must win for Truex. I think he's got to be careful.
Yeah, and
Truex is gonna score. Truex is 4th in the points, and he's on the bubble of being knocked out of this thing.
Yeah, he really runs the risk of it coming to an end, like right at the end of the season. You know what I mean? It's
Daytona. Like Eric Jones wins that race, or Bubba Wallace wins that race, and boom,
you can't
out you go.
You can't be comfortable if you're Truex until you get that win.
Yeah, he's got to go win Michigan, win Watkins Glen. Like he's got to get it in. He's got to get it done. Blaney too. I know Blaney was super frustrated after the road course race, but man, I understand why. Like he's had a great season, and just to be, so far out,
Yeah.
And to be second in points.
He's got it.
Like,
He's got a win. He just doesn't have a win. He
doesn't have the win that mattered.
right.
I know.
Didn't get the points win, so.
Yep. Denny Hamlin, his season has been so terrible that he's behind Kurt Busch still in points, but he's got those 2
That's
wins.
incredible.
He's so bad. It's just been so bad. Like, that's why I won't even put him in the discussion for title contenders at this point. It's just been too bad. He's got to be more consistent. You can't be that far back in points.
Yeah, I'd be with you.
He's barely ahead of Bubba Wallace.
I'd be with you if Martinsville wasn't in the final round, you know.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
But
that's true.
Anyway,
and that was another weird thing. Like, Chase Briscoe stayed out, and I'm glad he got that playoff point. That's great.
Right.
But he doesn't have to worry about points with. I don't know. He doesn't have to worry about points with Kurt Busch right now.
Yeah.
And that should be mentioned. Like, Kurt Busch missed his second race.
That's true. Yeah.
Ty Gibbs did really well again.
I didn't even pay attention. Where the hell did Ty Gibbs end up? I already closed my results.
17th. So another good day for him. But yeah, but Kurt's going to be fine, I think. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting watching the strategy, watching these guys kind of duke it out here, you know, towards the end of the season. And, you know, I feel like, you know, Byron and his team, they're kicking themselves for letting Darlington slip away. You know, there's a lot of things with this season. It's just kind of watching these guys jockeying around right now. It's just so tight, but
yep.
Yeah, good on everybody though. It's fun, man. This is a good time of the year. It's just high tension. Every week means a lot. We're going to Michigan. It's going to be God knows what.
Yeah, we have no idea what to expect this weekend.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun. You know, it's just the added pressure, and that's what we want to see. We want to see these guys perform under pressure.
Yep. Yeah, the more pressure, the better it is for us.
Exactly. Yep.
On to the news. One driver that we also know where he's going to be next year is Eric Jones. Going to return to Petty GMS in the 43 car, signed a multi-year contract with those guys. He's happy there. We kind of heard that over the past few weeks. Don't think there's any surprise here that this was signed. Did they say how many years? They just said multi-year, right?
Multi-year, yeah. I'm wondering if that means he's got like an out built in or something like that. Like he's got a clause. I kept hearing 3.
Yeah,
I kept seeing 3
to
years,
me, multi-year is 3. That kind of feels like what, you know.
To me, this sounds like a 1+1, like 1 in a driver option or 2, maybe 2 in a driver option to opt out or something like that. You see those types of contracts. So NASCAR, unfortunately, not as clear with their contract situations as other sports. I wish we knew. But that's okay. We'll know when he's a free agent again because he'll be at the top of people's boards, you know, like he is every year.
Right.
I mean, must be. To me, this means that Stewart-Haas Racing knows what they're doing with their opening, if this is getting done.
Yeah.
Or either that, or he really is happy there. Because they are building something.
What's not to be happy with? GMS.
They're performing. They're doing well.
GMS has done the right stuff in the series that it's run. I mean, I would expect that they'll continue to build this team. Again,
they're taking care of him. He's their franchise.
Again, now that we have this announcement, I would assume that the Noah Gragson one's probably going to be coming really soon as well.
Yeah, I would bet. Yeah.
So you're building a pretty good foundation there. I mean, a lot of people want to put Kyle Busch in this car, so maybe Kyle Busch runs a third car here. Maybe he takes Noah Gregson's seat. I don't know. Can you imagine Petty GMS putting Kyle Busch in there?
Oh my God.
That would just turn things upside down. That would turn that organization right around. And in theory, you know, it would take them from being an afterthought to holy crap, these guys are serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, same thing if Cullig did it. You know, there was a lot of talk this week on the Dale Jr. Download about where Kyle might end up, and Jr. even suggested that one of the teams that could pay him is Hendrick. And who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened. So
Yep.
Until that contract is signed, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nate Ryan had a great article this week about saying that Kyle should consider other series. Go run IndyCar, go run the Indy 500, go run, you know, overseas. But Kyle said in his interview Sunday morning before the race on USA that he was looking at options for this series or something along those lines. He made it pretty clear without being fully clear that he's intending to stay in NASCAR.
He has the rest of his racing life to go and chase all those other trophies.
Yeah.
He's only got so much Cup Series prime.
Yeah, when this is I mean, Nate Ryan made the point, and he's got a good point, that in this era of racing, To get 7 championships is going to be almost impossible.
No, it's not going to happen.
Kyle's checked every box but that box. So what else does he have to earn here, James? I mean, there's really nothing else for him to do. He's a multi-time champion in the Cup Series. Nate Ryan says, what's the difference between 2 and 4? I mean...
Well, there's a prestigious...
He's going to the Hall of Fame.
There's a prestigious line.
I guess the question becomes, is Kyle racing because he loves winning, or is Kyle racing because he loves the stats? Which we know Kyle loves the stats.
He loves the stats. Oh, yeah.
So is that more important to him? And if that's the case, then what else has he got?
There's a very prestigious line when you start getting past 2 championships. Like the guys with 3 and above.
Yeah, conveniently 3.
Well, here's what I'm saying. So when you get to 3, you're David Pearson, you're Cale Yarborough, you're Darrell Waltrip, and you're Dale Earnhardt, and you're Jeff Gordon, you're Tony Stewart.
I was gonna say name the driver you want to name.
Well, yeah, that's it though. That's a short list.
I know.
When you get to 3,
I agree with you.
When you get to 3, that's a short. That's the greatest of the great.
Yeah,
3 and up is the greatest of the great.
Yeah.
A lot of great guys have 2. Buck Baker, Joe Weatherly's got 2.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want Kyle to go anywhere else, but Nate had some good points, and they were better than I expected when I read the headline of the article. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a great piece. You can't. It's man, I don't know. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If he gets to 3, if it comes to club of 10, let's put it that way. It's a 9-driver club, 3 and up. It's pretty legit.
And
that's tough. Lee Petty.
Since we're already on the Kyle Busch topic, we'll continue talking about
KFB corner.
Yeah, he
KFB.
He said willing to take a pay cut to continue racing.
That shocked me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're saying that, then you're negotiating. That's negotiating in the public eye right there. Because why would you say it if you weren't trying to get somebody to bite?
He was super happy too, wasn't he?
He was super happy. And James, I'd have to go back and listen to the interview, but the way he was talking did not, to me, sound like a guy who's preparing to re-sign. It sounded like a guy who's shopping for another team.
Well, he made the statement that how nice it was that other drivers were accepting of him to come to their team.
Yeah.
And who was
and
the
that
guy
there was interest from other teams.
Yeah, and who was the guy who was pounding the pulpit, saying he'd love to have Kyle Busch as a teammate?
Yeah.
I just feel like, man, I don't know.
Kevin Harvick, by the way.
It is Kevin Harvick, yes. Yeah. Man, the Stewart-Haas tea leaves.
Didn't Harvick say something similar about Kyle Larson, though?
Well, of course, anybody would have wanted to have Kyle Larson. We know Stewart-Haas was in the Kyle Larson game.
That is true.
Ford just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, maybe. Does Ford want Kyle?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't?
I don't know. There's a reputation.
You gotta be silly
there.
not to want him.
I would think so,
you gotta
but
be silly.
I would think so, but they also didn't want Kyle Larson. Which,
did they learn their lesson or not?
Based on what Larson was doing, that was a stupid decision, even based on what he did.
Exactly. Did you learn your lesson from letting him walk or not? I
don't know.
Toyota obviously didn't learn their lesson.
No.
From letting Kyle Larson walk either, because they didn't go after him.
And I think that's what you've got right here, James. And this is coming from absolutely no knowledge. This is me speculating, but here's my thoughts on what this is. Kyle said this week he's willing to take a pay cut, so it's not about the money.
That's crazy to me.
I think you've got Kyle who wants a multi-year contract. JGR, who potentially is not willing to sign a multi-year contract because they got to figure out what to do with grandson at the end of next season.
Yeah.
They have to figure out what to do with him. So do you boot Truex or do you boot Kyle Busch? Because one of them's getting the boot.
You just signed Truex.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they're going to race next year, and Gibbs is going to race in the Xfinity Series next year. So if you sign Kyle for a multi-year contract, now you're getting rid of Truex. Truex is gone because Ty Gibbs is coming. And
we know Chris Bell can't leave.
Denny said he wants to retire with FedEx as a sponsor. So as long as FedEx is there, Denny's staying. Chris Bell would be stupid to get rid of him.
Yep.
So it's Kyle or Truex. So from the Joe Gibbs standpoint, if Kyle leaves, it solves a problem.
Yep.
So,
And Truex has big sponsorship dollars behind him.
but I think Toyota is trying to keep him there.
Toyota doesn't want to let him go.
No, Toyota stands to lose the most from this deal because they lose the Truck Series.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
that is the top Truck Series team, and they lose that.
Yep. And does Ford say?
I mean, I guess
is Ford interested in the Truck Series? Yeah. Is Ford interested in big time Truck Series racing or not?
I don't know. But I mean,
I don't know.
if you're Toyota, you have to either put him in a JGR car or put him in a 2311 car if you're going to keep Kyle Busch and keep Toyota in the Truck Series with Kyle Busch Motorsports.
I had seen that he could replace Kurt as another like rumor.
I had seen that as well.
You know, Kurt retires and Kyle goes over there.
Yeah. I mean, Monster wouldn't be happy about it, but
the rumblings are so great right now.
But if Kyle goes over there, Monster's going to probably jump ship and go with Ty anyway. So
yeah, Monster can't go there. Yep.
So yeah,
which is funny because Kyle and Monster had such a great relationship for so long.
Yeah.
And Nas, I guess.
Yeah, but too, Kyle wanted to create a healthy energy drink instead of that garbage that.
Sure. Yeah.
Straight sugar Monster Energy.
Yeah. The slinging of sludge game is going very well for everyone involved, I think.
Yeah.
If they're sponsoring race cars.
Right.
But I mean, okay, Eric. So every week I ask you where you're at. How are you feeling this week in the KFB quarter? Are you
James? Every week this goes, there's less of a chance of him coming back to JGR. Every week the crazy. Chance goes down. And the way Kyle talked, I'm looking forward to this weekend in Michigan because hopefully I get a chance to actually witness him in person talking about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm really anxious to see because it's really hard to judge on TV. You get that little glimpse from the interview, but you really get to see the personality and see the response and see their actions even like once the microphone goes away. I think that'll tell a lot more this weekend.
Eric, watch me do this one. Watch me spin this yarn.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So the big dog from Stuart Haas didn't show up on Saturday to take the big old Indy winners picture. Mr. Stewart, Mr. Smoke. But he did parachute in on Sunday. And he parachuted in on Sunday, and part of me wonders, okay, was there a meeting? Kevin Harvick made his comments. Kyle Busch was really happy on Sunday. Like he seemed giddy, and I'm trying to put the puzzle pieces together. Smoke comes in, Kyle's happy, Harvick's doing Harvick stuff. I just wonder.
The story's so much better if Kyle leaves.
Oh my God! In Ford's backyard, at Michigan, Ford comes out to the podium. Eric gets the press release saying, "Come to the media center." Ford has an announcement, and he walks in. I'm painting the picture for you, Eric. You walk in.
It'd be incredible.
And there's Kyle Busch sitting with Tony Stewart.
It'd be incredible.
It would be awesome.
I don't know, man.
Just as fun. Kyle Busch and Rick Hendrick sitting at the podium is really fun.
Right.
I'm sorry, Alex Bowman. The way you've been driving this season is sorry. I'm sorry. And Alex Bowman's won more than Kyle Busch recently. We should know that. But
coming off of getting disqualified and in the middle of contract talks, I would not expect Kyle Busch to be in a good mood, because
am I a positive person?
But he was, and that leads me to believe something's up.
Yeah, either it's done with Joe Gibbs or I don't know. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, it's got to be coming soon.
I think it's Stuart Haas. If I was a betting man, because I think you get the best odds for your money if he goes to Stuart Haas. So I would say Stuart Haas is my pick, and then Joe Gibbs Racing. I think Joe Gibbs is the favorite, but I'm just saying, betting your money, take Stuart Haas here because you got a lot more to gain.
So okay. James, you predicted this was gonna be a short podcast, so we just screwed that up with this discussion.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I want to throw two out at you then, and get your thoughts on it.
Let's go.
So one,
let's go.
Dale Jr. mentioned Hendrick. Do you see Hendrick giving Bowman the axe? That's the only driver we can imagine they would get rid of. Would he give Bowman the axe and bring Kyle Busch in there?
Depends on how tied in is Ally with Alex Bowman.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt Ally's going to stick their name on Kyle Busch's car.
I mean, they like to win, though. They sponsor a 7-time champion.
It's true.
Oof. Yeah. That's the driver I'd get rid of if it was me. If I was Rick.
I'm
or
just
Jeff
saying.
Gordon,
I'm not asking about is Bowman the one to go. I'm asking, does it make sense for Rick Hendrick to bring Kyle Busch back to Hendrick Motorsports?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Bring Kyle Busch in anywhere is a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
So realistic.
If you care about winning,
is it realistic to think that he could be driving a Hendrick car next year?
I don't think they have any room at the end.
Okay.
I think it's been explored though. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that they've had that talk.
What's more realistic to you, that Kyle Busch goes and races at Hendrick next year, or Kyle Busch goes and fills that rotating seat at Colleague? What do you think is more realistic? What would you be less surprised over?
Kyle Busch would put the pressure on to have the seat at Hendrick, and they would move somebody else to Colleague. Would be what I would say. Kyle Busch would not want to race for Colleague. He would want the big seat.
Okay.
He wants the big seat, or KFB Motorsports.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What if there's an ownership stake somewhere in here?
That's right. He gets the Brad Keselowski deal, right?
Yep.
So you go to Colleague, you get the Brad Keselowski deal. They technically have an open seat for a full-time driver. Yeah, there's that.
But I don't see Colleague going for a partner.
No, but if a partner comes with the gravitas of Kyle Busch and he brings in lots of sponsorship dollars that are possible, even though apparently Joe Gibbs can't find him a sponsor, yes.
I would think
you partner up.
I would think if you're talking partner, I would expect it would be more logical to have him in the 42 car.
Well, if you're talking partner, you're maybe
if you're talking partner, I'd say GMS and Petty team up with Kyle.
Yeah. Like, what's Richard Childress's retirement plan? But we all know that can't work.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's any way that happens.
No, because
no
Richard
way in a million years.
Face in.
You know, there.
It's Austin Dillon. Yeah, I mean, that's Austin Dillon's, succession plan. Basically, it's Austin Dillon.
And there was a joke about him going to Junior Motorsports, but Junior, they can't afford Kyle Busch.
No, that's what Junior said. He said Kyle Busch costs 2 charters. I can't afford that.
Yeah, it's gonna take the Junior Motorsports all it can to get a charter, let alone sign a driver like Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch isn't going anywhere he can't win races. Right. It ain't happening. He's gonna go where he can win a championship. That's all he cares about. He wants to win races and win championships.
So my thought is that he's likely going to end up at JGR or Stuart Haas.
It's one of the two.
But I would not. Hendrick has done some crazy things, and it would not surprise me at all to see him swipe Kyle Busch up. I think if Kyle Busch is an option for Rick Hendrick, I think Rick Hendrick pulls the trigger. Can you imagine the dynasty of that team?
Well, and people don't know that Kyle Busch and Rick Hendrick actually have a good relationship.
Right. They're neighbors.
They live right next door to each other.
Yes.
Yeah. They go on the boat.
Right.
They're actually really happy with each other.
Yeah.
Like Kyle totally understands why Hendrick let him go.
Yeah.
In 2007 to bring in Dale Jr. And Kyle honestly worked out better for Kyle. He became Kyle Busch at Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yep.
So, man, good stuff. KFB Corner.
This is going to become a recurring segment until something's signed. I mean, how many times can we say the same thing over and over again?
Until you break the news this week, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Speaking of this week, James, we go to Michigan International Speedway this weekend. The NASCAR
literally.
Xfinity Series. Yeah, literally. The Xfinity Series and Cup Series are in action. I will be on the grounds. I have officially I haven't gotten my credentials yet, but I've approved for my credentials, so I will be there for this one. There will be all kinds of stuff coming from me this weekend. The temporary plan, James, which I haven't even discussed with you, but just so everybody knows, Saturday is a really long day. But I will get opportunities to talk to several of the drivers in the bullpen during qualifying. My goal is to have a special edition of the podcast Saturday afternoon / evening that will go up just with driver interviews from that. Probably a lot of it talking about what to expect on Sunday. So it'll be kind of a quick listen. You'll want to listen to it Saturday probably because it'll be outdated after Sunday. That's all. hopeful of me getting a quiet place to record intros and outros and enough Wi-Fi in my hotel room to actually upload it, all that stuff. So that's the plan. That's the hope. Last year I did just sound clips and put those up. That might happen too. Either way, there's going to be audio content going through the podcast feed this weekend, so keep an eye out for it.
So,
and then we'll have all kinds of stuff from post-race on the podcast next week after the Cup race. So, but we get to make our picks this weekend. James, I gained a significant amount on you this week.
You did,
but not enough.
You cut back into it.
Yeah.
No penalties.
Yeah,
no penalties.
No.
We were clean and clear.
No disqualifications.
That's right.
The gap is now 35 points. So you are 35 points ahead of me.
Yeah. You basically cut it in half. You gained 31.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gain on a weekekend.
That's good, yeah. I mean, you picked 2 freaking winners.
Well, I almost went 3 for 3 too, because Zane Smith was close there at the end. I was I was excited.
I mean, you went out you went out on a limb with AJ and Tyler Reddick.
Right, I know, yeah, I didn't really try real hard. So, yeah. So, speaking of which, that screws up my Xfinity pick because I was going to pick AJ Allmendinger at Michigan. I can't do that.
And Eric, I'm looking at our spreadsheet too, which is really funny. We have Atlanta 2 in between Indiana and Michigan, and I don't know why.
Huh? How'd that happen?
We'll fix it.
Well, I
we'll
did
fix
it.
it in post.
So I did it. So
fix it in post.
Somehow screwed it up.
Well, now we're even for the day.
All right. So NASCAR Xfinity Series is New Holland 250 at Michigan, and I have to change my pick because I was going to pick Allmendinger. Hold on a second, quick.
Can't do it.
I know I can't do it, which sucks because I probably just told you who to pick. Allmendinger, by the way, is last year's winner here. If you don't,
he was
remember.
riding some momentum last year. He got
yes, he
hot
was.
in the
It was
summer.
so cool seeing him win this race. The crowd was chanting AJ, AJ, AJ after the race. It was very, very neat. I want to just double check something here real quick before I pull the trigger.
Well, I know who I'm picking as long as you don't pick him. So, I've got my horses. I kind of know what I want to do here. Let me give you just a good little. I'll try to give you some time to filibuster.
Thanks.
So I'm thinking for the Cup Series. I'm not going to take him, but Kevin Harvick's got to break through officially at some point, doesn't he?
Harvick's a great pick
Like,
here.
is that going out on a limb to say I like Kevin Harvick?
No,
I don't know. Okay.
I don't think so. But
I wanted to check that with you.
it's so. I know he's on my short list. It's so iffy. If I was out ahead, I'd probably take him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go, man. I'm
you're
going
like
with
living
Junior
and dying.
Motorsports, so it's just a matter of which Junior Motorsports driver I'm taking.
Jesus. Don't do it.
I'm gonna.
Don't do it, man.
I am
take
going
him.
to go. Screw it. I'm going Josh Berry. I don't know why. I'm going Josh Berry.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I don't know why he's in the middle of the three. He's between Gregson and Allgaier for average finish here, and he's only run one race here. But something about Josh Berry I just like at Michigan, so I'm going to go Josh Berry.
Now I'm gonna feel like an idiot here, because this whole time I'm like, man, Justin Allgaier. I want Justin Allgaier. Don't take
switch?
Justin Allgaier. Yeah, I'm gonna make a switch. I'm gonna make a late decision here. It's gonna kill me. I'm gonna go Austin Hill here.
Really? Okay, that's a good pick though.
Yeah,
it's a really good pick.
I am just and if it races,
Does he have a truck win here?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Hold on, let me just double check that.
I feel like he's got a truck win here.
If this race races fairly close to what a super speedway can race like, I know it's not going to be, I know it's totally different. But I just like the way he's run these big tracks this year. Yeah, he does. He won 2019 at Michigan. Yeah. He won for Hattori Racing.
Yeah, that's right. I thought so. I would have interviewed him then after the race.
He's won Vegas, Homestead in the trucks, Kansas, Vegas. So
nice. So the last time the Truck Series was here, he won.
Yep, and I guess that's the last race the Truck Series will ever run there. This year he does have the 2 wins, Daytona and Atlanta. And
I take that back. 2020, the Truck Series raced here too, I believe. Yeah, Truck Series raced in 2020.
Oh yeah. Well. Yeah. So anyway, he did win he won Daytona and Atlanta, and obviously we know how those tracks race. That's not how Michigan's gonna race, but there's something there.
I don't know. It's Michigan's similar for the Xfinity
There's
cars.
Going to be a lot. and he races the draft very well. So I feel like he'll give me a solid day, and it's going to be a big week for him because he's going to announce tomorrow he's going to the Cup Series. So
right,
or so we believe, air quotes.
Yeah.
But yes.
Cup
Series.
Since you're going out on a limb there, I'm going to do the same in the Cup Series. So the Cup Series is Firekeepers Casino 400. It's our only Cup Series race at Michigan this year. James, I'm using California as my guideline for this because we don't know what this is going to be like here at Michigan. And I'm going to go with a guy who finished third at California. I'm going to go with the hometown boy, Eric Jones, to win at Michigan.
Oh, I like it. I like it. This is, hold on. I'm going to verify. This is the first pick of Mr. Eric Jones this season.
I thought it probably was.
I like that pick.
He just signed a deal. He's coming home.
He was fast. He was fast at California.
Yeah, he was.
I'm going to go with a guy who was fast at California as well. And I'm doing this pick as a show me something. Prove it to me pick. Tyler Reddick.
Okay. It's a good one.
Go win an oval. Show me. I'm gonna ride the Reddick momentum here, and go win this race and show me you're a championship contender right now.
That's interesting. Austin Dillon also usually runs really well at Michigan.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Except for that massive crash. Remember when Brad hooked him? Was that last year?
That was last year.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah.
After
He's
the
always
checker.
scary good here. Yep. After the stage one.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Watch Brad come out and win it this year after he's done nothing all season.
That'd be awesome, man. I want him to win this one so bad.
I know.
That'd be so cool.
I've written the article every
That'd be
year
so cool.
leading up to this about Brad Keselowski potentially winning here, but I think this is
I
probably
think a lot of people do.
I think this is probably the lowest chance he's ever had at winning at Michigan.
Yeah, it's high on his list. We know he doesn't keep that a secret.
Roush used to dominate this place.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Xfinity and
God,
Cup.
Biffle.
Yeah.
Biffle, Kenseth, and
Martin.
Edwards.
Mark Martin won a lot of races here.
Mark Martin. Dale Jarrett was good here for the Yates guys back in the day.
Yeah, this has been a Ford track historically. Another good pick this
recently.
weekend. Yeah, Harvick's a great pick. Joey Logano runs really, really well at Michigan.
Oh my God, yeah, he's been good here. Hamlin has had a history here.
Yeah.
Not as recent, but he's run good here before.
I would not pick Kyle Busch to win here because Kyle usually
he's
sucks
won
at
here
Michigan.
before, though.
He has won.
He's won here before.
But he hates this place, so.
Byron's been really good here.
Yeah.
Really, really good here. So that'd be another one who could come and steal the show. But yeah, I think we got two solid picks here because Eric Jones could come in and surprise some folks. I actually like that pick a lot.
I think
that's a good one.
I think you're talking the top 5, at least top 10 finish for him. So.
And he'll race for points. He'll try to stick it up there and make it happen. Tyler Reddick, on the other hand, I'm not sure what he'll try to do, but I know if he's got a fast car, he's going to keep it up front all day.
Yep.
That being said, Tyler Reddick's never led 100 laps in a race before, so he's never really dominated in that sense. But we'll see.
Look forward to seeing what we get this weekend. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you going down there, man. I'll be pushing out your stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited. Can't wait. It's so weird to wait this late in the season to go to my first NASCAR race because usually it started in June, but not this year.
Yep. Yeah, it is strange.
So
I don't think I'll ever get used to it.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's an internal clock,
Yep. Fantasy League. What's there to talk about in fantasy? I thought I was doing well, but I still finished terrible.
Nobody got disqualified this week.
That's good.
We got tied for second. So we had Freight Train and Justin 713 tied for second, 1 point off the winner, Hot Rod Todd.
Yeah.
So we had 193, a low scoring week again, but Hot Rod Todd gets the win. Eric, you were terrible, I guess. I mean, 7th. Fast to the Grass was 4th. I was 5th. Overall standings, really quick. I have a less than 100 point lead over Fast to the Grass, 97 point lead, and then Green Eggs and Hamlin 3rd. Our buddy Ranger actually took a little bit of a tumble. He fell to 6th, but Freight Train jumped up. Justin 713 jumped up. That's a real close battle there for 4th. But we're in the nitty gritty of it now, man. Use your guys up because we're getting close to playoff time.
There you go.
So there you go. Yep.
What the hell time is it? Shout out time? You got any shout outs, James?
It is shout out time. Dale Jr. made me laugh on the download. That's worth your time. What the bleep does Kyle Petty have to do with it? Just cracks me up. So Dale Jr. download's a good one. And that's pretty much my main shout out for the week. We had some other stuff going on, but that one just sticks out to me as one of the funniest things of the whole week. So him and Mike going at each other was just hilarious. I just laughed.
That was good stuff. The Mike Joy conversation was great. I didn't get all the way through it. I still got to finish it. I love hearing
Hamlin's coming on DBC.
Yes,
too.
I know. I love hearing Junior talk to broadcasters because I love hearing him ask questions because he wants to learn.
Yes.
I feel for Junior because he doesn't feel like he's good enough at it, but I also love that about him too.
He's good enough.
He definitely is. Mike Joy said that because Junior was talking about being nervous about the next TV deal and if NBC loses the rights. And Mike Joy said, whoever signs the contract, the very first person that they're going to sign is you. And he's right. I mean, there is nobody else that anybody would put in the booth before Dale Jr.
That's right.
And that's the way it should be, you know?
Yep. ESPN would pick him up in a heartbeat.
Yep. Oh, speaking of ESPN, there's a shout out from me. How great to hear Alan Bestrick's voice on a NASCAR broadcast again. Oh, yeah. Love it. Even if it was just pre-race, it's so good to hear Alan Bestwick.
Yep.
Love that he's doing the Indianapolis thing. It's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, and coming right off SRX, he's on a. Yep. I just love AB. We don't get enough of him. But hopefully when these media rights come together, somebody's smart enough to lock him up.
So. I hope so. It's so tough because I don't think Rick Allen's the strongest of the three if you count him, Mike Joy, and Alan Bestrick, but I don't want to see anything happen to Rick Allen either. I like Rick.
We got good announcers right now.
It's tough because you're going to have two networks probably, and you're going to have to pick two guys, and I don't really want to see any of those guys go. I like Adam Alexander too. I think he does a great job. I would love to see him get a chance doing Cup. I thought Jamie Little has improved on the ARCA broadcast significantly. She's been fun to listen to. Yeah. Yep. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think honestly, there's a future where Dale Jr. is the play-by-play guy. I think somebody's going to make a run at that eventually when he gets to where he's comfortable enough to do that. And I think he's trying. He's overrunning Rick Allen right now in the booth at NBC. So whether that's good or bad, but
NBC's doing a great job so far. I must say, I don't have a whole lot of complaints other than they take really weird commercial breaks.
Yeah, the commercial breaks when they're pitting before the end of the stage and the road course. Like, come on, guys, you know when they're going to pit. Why are we taking those? Speaking of door bumper clear, that just posted with Denny Hamlin.
There you go. We'll go listen to that when you're done with this.
Was that your shout out, James? You done with your shout out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my shout out.
I wanted to give a shout out real quick because there is a Twitter account. Let me make sure I've got it right. It is at RT Revival, James, the racetrack revival at North Wilkesboro. There were cars on the track at North Wilkesboro Speedway today.
They're in the pits today.
Yes, Modified's practicing. They are going to race tomorrow and Wednesday to kick things off for the racetrack revival at North Wilkesboro. It's a whole month of racing on the old asphalt. Then they're going to rip it all up, race on the dirt. James, the end of this month, August 30th and 31st, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to race down there in a late model. And guess what, man? I'm going to be there. I'm going to North Wilkesboro. Yeah. I have reserved the hotel room. So barring anything that happens funky that might prevent it, I'm making the trip down to North Wilkesboro for the first time. So I guess I'm shouting myself out as well.
Good for you, man. I'm excited for you. That's going to be great.
So the plan is to do that.
I hope you get a chance to interview him.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, I'm going as a fan, so I won't be down in the pits or anything. I'll be with the family up in the stands. So,
bring the recorder just in case. Man.
Right.
Just in case.
I got the iPhone. Yep. You can always record on the iPhone. He did say he was planning on sitting doing some tailgating during the weekend too. So
hell yeah,
we'll see. And then,
dude, if the Marty party and that whole crew's down there, I'm gonna be hurting.
Yeah,
like physically hurting.
I'm so excited because
jealousy.
I've always I so was bummed that I would never get to go to North Wilkesboro, and I not only am I getting to go, but I'm getting to go to the old North Wilkesboro before they remodel it. I'm so excited about it. Hopefully all this is successful and they do go ahead with the revitalization and all that. But just to note as well, I also put in for credentials because it just so happens that following weekend there's a big race at Darlington, the Southern 500. So I put in for credentials for that. We'll see if I get approved for that. So hopefully, well, either way, I'm going to the Southern 500 too, James. I just might be a fan or I might be in the pits. I don't know. We'll see.
Heck yeah.
So there you go. Jackass. You got Jackass this week, James?
Yeah, this easy one. We not only did I screw up the notes, I forgot to mention Marcus Lemonis and Camping World backing out of the Truck Series.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk about that last week. The way that went down was jackassery. The whole thing, jackassery. Jordan Bianchi got basically lied to, and Eric, you've worked in the media quite a long time. You know how this goes. Jackassery from Marcus's side, jackassery from the journalism side. Not Jordan, but other people involved. Just, yeah, overall, that whole thing was just weird. But anyway, I'm bummed that we're losing Camping World. They're been a great sponsor for so long, and I know Marcus has other financial interests going on right now. I know he said it was for his employees. They're spending their money elsewhere. I know where that money's going. If you can follow his interests, you know where that money's going to be going. It's not going to be in racing, so that's fine. He did a lot for racing, and it's a weird place to bring it up to actually pay homage to him a little bit, but we were so fortunate to have that guy for so long. Honestly,
I think he kept the Truck Series afloat. I mean, without
he kept
him,
Truck Series alive, man. Yeah, exactly. Like, and kept drivers driving, and but I don't like the way that this ended. It should have ended better. So the whole situation just bums me out, and that's why I'm sticking it here.
Well, the rumor is too that Craftsman might step in to fill those shoes. So
heck yeah, dude.
Be cool to have Craftsman back on the trucks.
Craftsman Truck Series is the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now if we just bring Winston back, we'd be all set.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I don't care. I don't care how it looks.
Right.
Yep.
Since you went back into the past for your Jackass, I'm gonna do the same because I don't really have any good ones this. Well, I mean, I gotta give it to why the hell can't I think of his name now? Bozo number 4, John Hunter Nemechek for driving like an idiot at IRP. But I'm gonna go back because I completely forgot when we talked about the announcement at Chicago for the street course. Who at NASCAR dropped the ball and did not have Michael Jordan at that announcement? I get that we had Michael Jordan's driver in Bubba Wallace, a guy who, by the way, until this weekend sucked at road courses, to announce the road course. But how in the hell do you not get Michael Jordan? Whatever you got to pay Jordan to get him to Chicago for the announcement of the street course. Come on.
Well, I think I know a little bit about this.
All right.
Michael and the city of Chicago are not on great terms.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could pay him. So that's my understanding of the situation. It's not under the best.
I feel like you trick him and get him on a plane and just
Sure.
say you're going somewhere else and you get him there for the announcement.
I don't think he's been to Chicago in a long time, like publicly, like public facing. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. I think that was a fail.
Eric, I got a good one for you. Historic Racetracks on Twitter, an account I follow.
Yeah.
I mentioned them before. They posted a picture of 1970s Michigan, the aerial view. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. You can see the Trans Am course, just beautiful.
What is the Twitter handle? Because I'm going to follow it.
It is at Racing Aerials. All one word. At Racing Aerials. Yeah, Historic Racetrack Aerials is this account. They posted a picture of Tri-City actually not too long ago, a couple months ago actually, but yeah, 1970s Michigan in all of its glory. So there you go.
All right. Apparently I can't type, so or can't spell. So I'll do that later when we're done with the podcast instead of bringing
direct message coming your way.
Bring everything to a direct halt.
Yes, that's how we do it.
Well, James, if people want to tweet at you during the week, how can they do that?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can follow me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. I can promise you there will be a ton of tweets on Saturday and Sunday, especially from Michigan International Speedway. So you want to follow that for race updates and any scanner, chatter, all that stuff. At TSuperspeedway. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. Sorry it went down this week. I did not pay the bill, but it's back up.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, so thesuperspeedway.com. Great timing on that when, I'm trying to get credentials to races and showing the website and it goes down. But anyway, you can find old episodes of the podcast. There's your Jackass for the week, James. You can find old episodes of the podcast, show notes, links to articles we discussed, past race coverage, photos, and more. Like I said, there'll be all kinds of content from this weekend as well. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Wherever you found us today, we hope you subscribe and continue to listen. Please subscribe for new episodes each week. We head to the Irish Hills of Michigan this weekend, James. It is the Firekeepers Casino 400. NASCAR is back in the mitten. I'll be there to cover it all. We'll be back next week to break it all down and discuss it. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.